Hey guys, it's Sam with The Blind Life, helping you learn how to live your best blind life. Today we are talking all about different types of canes. So I still get this question quite often, actually. What types of canes are available? What's the difference between a mobility cane and an identification cane? What does that even mean, ID cane? And since I recently did a video talking about a bunch of different types of tips, I figured we would talk about different types of canes. Now, disclaimer, as I said in that video, I'm not an orientation and mobility specialist or instructor or anything like that, maybe enthusiast. So keep in mind, I may be completely off on some of this. I don't think I am, but if you guys have a correction, please feel free to politely correct me in the comments. You know, if I'm wrong about something, I would love to be educated and learn about it. Okay, as far as cane types, there are 3 basic cane types, maybe even 4. We're gonna talk about a 4th possible type. But those are gonna be your ID cane or identification cane, a guide cane, and a probing or long cane mobility cane. The 4th category, which we will talk about towards the end, I'm gonna say specialty canes, okay? But we'll explain more about that here in a little bit. The first one though is your identification cane or your ID cane. This is traditionally going to be a smaller cane. You hold it in front of you. Sometimes it's so short that it doesn't even reach the floor. It's also going to be a much thinner and lightweight cane. Because this cane is just used for identification. It's just to alert everyone around you that you have a vision impairment. It's generally not used for any type of probing or mobility. So the next one is a guide cane, and that's what this guy is. Guide cane often tends to be a shorter cane, just like the identification cane. You also hold it in front of you, and oftentimes you walk with it just simply out in front of you. And the guide cane is designed for someone that mainly wants identification, but also does need a little bit of probing or investigation from their cane. Curves, steps, things like that. Now the cane does tend to be thinner, just like the ID cane, and very, very lightweight. And then the 3rd type is the probing cane or the mobility cane, the long white cane. It's got a bunch of different names, but this is the cane that you're going to be using for mobility, for navigation. Oftentimes you're going to be tapping it back and forth, 2-point touch, or sliding it side to side, constant contact. But this is the cane that someone who is a full-time cane user is going to want. If you are a sometimes cane user, this might not be the right option for you because it tends to be heavier, made of much more durable material, just overall more robust. So it might be overkill for someone that just needs a cane here and there or just for identification. You obviously can use it for that, but you might want to look at one of the other options. Now, talking about materials and construction. Canes can be made out of a wide variety of materials. Generally, it's going to be like graphite, fiberglass, carbon fiber, aluminum. Those tend to be the most popular. Graphite, carbon fiber, these are very light materials. So they're going to be great for the ID canes and things like that, whereas the aluminum is a much heavier, more durable material. So it's going to be used for some of the mobility canes, not all though. Now, constructions. We have 3 basic types of cane construction. That is the straight cane or the long white cane. That is a cane that does not have it doesn't fold up, it doesn't have any breaks in the material. It is just a long, solid piece. It has some benefits and some drawbacks. So the benefit is they tend to be much more responsive and give you a lot more feedback. You can also make them from lighter material like carbon fiber.
And of course, I completely forgot to record the cons or the downside of using the long straight white cane, and that's mainly portability. The cane doesn't fold up at all. So if you can imagine taking one of these on any of the 3 main transportations, planes, trains, and automobiles, it could be quite difficult.
Next, we have the folding cane. Much like the straight cane, except that it folds up into a nice compact package. It has an elastic band running through the middle of it, so when you open it up, everything just pops together and locks in place. Now, because it's got that band running through it and it's multi-sectioned, it may not give as much feedback as the complete solid straight cane, but I think it's not too bad. You sacrifice a little bit of that for the portability. Now, these can also be made out of any of the materials. You tend, though, to find these, especially when they are mobility canes or probing canes, you tend to find them in the aluminum, the heavier material, more durable material. Now, as far as number of sections, it's everything from 2 sections up to, I think, like 8. Commonly, most common, it's going to be 4 sections. I have this one here is a 7-segment cane, which means it folds up to a much more compact package than this 4-segment cane. So for portability, you know, the more segments, the better. And then finally, probably the king of portability, you've got the telescopic cane. This cane has multiple sections that telescope into each other. It tends to be made of a much lighter material because of that, and it tends to not be the most durable. I had one of these very similar to this one, in fact, and it broke pretty quickly because they don't last very well. But they fold up super compact. This is actually a larger one. I've seen them even smaller folding up, or not folding, but telescoping up. So for portability and convenience, you can't beat a telescopic cane. These are great options for guide canes. Maybe not so much probing or mobility canes because they tend to collapse on themselves as you're walking along. If you don't really tighten it down in the extended position, you'll be just walking along and it will just collapse on itself. So keep that in mind, but still a good option. Now, what about cane lengths? Well, for identification and guide canes, it doesn't really matter. You know, a short cane would be fine. You're just using it to probe out in front of you. So there isn't really any kind of hard or fast rule for that. For mobility, straight canes, probing canes, mobility canes, general rule of thumb, some people say the armpit, some people say the collarbone, some people say the chin. One thing's for sure though, if you intend to be a fast walker, you might want a little bit longer cane. That's going to allow you to interact with obstacles faster.
Real quickly, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, JOBY and the new Bee M50. The M50 is a Bluetooth noise-canceling wireless headset with microphone. You guys know, for the most part, it's really important for us to keep our ears open to the world around us. That's how most of us see the world around us. And in certain situations, you're walking around outside on the street, you don't want to be covering up your ears too much with headphones. So this is where the M50 comes in perfectly. It is a single-sided wireless Bluetooth headset. It's worn in just one ear, which leaves the other ear open to the environment, leaving you constantly aware of the world around you. The headset has noise-canceling technology. It has a 24-hour talk time with the built-in microphone and a 60-day standby time, which is crazy. The headset has tactile buttons for controlling things like volume, switching tracks, answering and ending phone calls, that sort of thing. The headset's really comfortable. It's designed to be worn for long periods of time. It even comes with different sized earpieces, so if the one that's on there doesn't quite fit right, you can change that out without any problems. You even get this really cool hard case. Speaking of the microphone, it's got great audio quality. This headset would be perfect for things like Zoom calls, presentations, telemarketing, podcasting, and even recording spots like this. All the audio you're hearing right now is actually from the M50, and it sounds pretty good. And the best part is the price, $35. So if you guys would like to learn more about the new Bee Bluetooth wireless headset, I will have more information in the description down below.
All right, talking about cane handles, different materials, different shapes, that sort of thing. The most common one that you're going to run into is the golf club handle. It's basically just that. It's fashioned after the handle of a golf club. It's usually got this rubber material, very textured, very grippy. It's kind of ribbed. It has a flat section on one side. You might also run into some type of leather wrapped handle, very padded. This one is technically a golf club style because it has the flat section on one side, but it's wrapped in this leather, this red leather, kind of luxurious, I guess you could say, a little bit more fancy. But then you also might have just a very plain foam handle. This is an NFB cane. This is one of my favorite canes, but it just has a very simple handle. If you can imagine a piece of craft foam that you would find at a hobby shop, just wrapping that around the shaft of the cane, that's basically all this handle is. So it's just a little bit of softness and grip. Very, very simple, but it's enough. Okay, before we talk about the specialty canes, if you would like to learn more about cane tips and the wide variety of cane tips, I did a video about that. You can click on the video popping out right now or find it down in the video description. And if you would like to learn about the history of the white cane, where it came from, who invented it, why it has a red section on it, then definitely check out my video on the history of the white cane, also popping out, also in the description down below. Okay, specialty canes. These are just going to be kind of all lumped together in the non-traditional white cane. And those include things like smart canes, like this is the WeWalk cane. It has many of the same characteristics as some of the other canes we've talked about, but it is a smart cane. It's an electronic cane that connects to an app and uses haptic feedback. I've got a couple videos on the WeWalk cane if you'd like to learn more about this. Then you already saw this one a couple times. This is the no jab cane. And this also is basically your traditional white cane, except that the handle has a built-in spring. So the handle can compress up to 8 inches, I believe, and eliminates about, I believe they say 70 to 80% of the impact force. If you've ever been walking and your cane gets stuck on a crack and jabs you right in the stomach, this will help with that because the handle compresses. So the no jab cane, also have several videos on this. And then you have the LED cane or the light up cane. This is the Giza hand LED cane, and it has a power bank, if I can get this off, has a power bank hidden in the handle here, and when you put it in, the bottom section of the cane lights up with LEDs. These LEDs are built into this bottom section. So this gives you a little bit better visibility at night, increased visibility. It helps you see your path a little bit better, but more importantly, it lets everyone out and about see you. But it also, once again, follows a lot of the same rules of the more traditional canes. It's a folding cane. I believe it's probably made from aluminum as well. It feels like it is. It has the golf club style handle here. So all intents and purposes, a normal cane, it just lights up here at the bottom. Once again, got a video about this too.
Then finally, the last subsection of the specialty white canes would be canes used for stability.
All right, so that is a very quick, brief, down and dirty explanation of canes, overall explanation of canes. There's more to it than just what I talked about here. As mentioned before, check out those videos. I will link in the description down below. I'll also include some other resources on YouTube for information about canes. One young lady in particular does a fantastic job talking about canes, different types of canes. So definitely check those out if you're curious and want to learn more. Also, if you think that you might be a good candidate for a cane, definitely reach out to an orientation and mobility specialist in your area. There's also some great YouTube channels dedicated to orientation and mobility. I'll link one or two of those as well down below where you can learn more and get some questions answered. If you think you're ready for a cane, that means you're ready for one. So definitely look into that. But that's it for me, guys. As always, thank you so much for checking out the video and staying to the very end. I appreciate it. If you have any more questions for me, leave those in the comments down below or reach out through email or some of my other social media. links, all of that will be down in the description below. Check out the website, check out the merchandise, check out all of that good stuff. Everything helps to support the channel. Become a member of the channel. Huge thank you to all my members. But that is it, guys. As always, Sam with The Blind Life. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.